Hello and welcome to the stream. Although what you're hearing right now is not from the stream, because I accidentally recorded no sound whatsoever for the entire stream. However, it is a short one, so I'll be just recording over it. I don't remember everything, but right in front of us is the Wilkinson where I worked many years ago. I worked there for a few years. In fact, I worked there before it opened because we had to stock the shelves and everything before you could open the doors to the public. And I was there probably 3 years, maybe five. I think it was 3 years, but I had to leave eventually because it just became intolerable to travel with my moving away. I used to live quite close to here, you see, but when I moved to a neighbouring city, travelling back and forth was just no good for a minimum wage job. However, it was a decent place to work at. The people were lovely, and it is a shame that it's closing down. See these sale signs? The company is going into administration. They're closing down. They've been looking for buyers, but none have come forward, or the ones that have, the deals haven't gone through, or something like that. However, this stream is from the 27th of August, 2023. I'm currently narrating it on the 7th of January 2024, so it's just over 3 months later. I don't remember. Just over 4 months later. I don't remember everything that I said at the time, but see that KFC? I used to go there for lunch quite a few times. One of the people that worked there I happen to know from before, so I sometimes get a little extra with my meal. Round the back here, you've got the river or canal, I think it's a river, passing by just on the other side of those hedges. And then past that, you've got loads of housing. But if you go round the back here and further on, there's a big park, which I'll show you in a bit. That's where I used to travel to and from work every day. It was quite nice as well. So here you can see the loading area to the shop that was next to Wilkinson, but that shop has changed quite a few times. It's been a bed shop, a pet store. However, because it's the very last one, it doesn't seem to get much foot traffic. So I think it's not the best position for a business. Here is the shutter to the storage, the warehouse for Wilkinson. You can see there's random shelving that's been put out. Probably it's damaged and needs sending away, or maybe it's not the right size and they need bigger ones or something. Often they would send things away and get new ones in when necessary, as well as all the cardboard down the left. Over there in front of us is a little door past that container. I thought when I looked at it here at this moment, I thought that was the staff entry door that I would use every day, but actually I think that's just a fire exit. I'll show later when I come back the proper exit entrance. Here on the left you've got a fenced off area for a place that burnt down, and in front of us is a bridge which its only purpose was to get to that place that burnt down, which is why this is all overgrown now, that no one uses it. All this area on the right was a large warehouse. I think it had timber, which is why it's so flammable. Here's the river passing under the bridge, and over there in the distance past the burnt place is the railway. So this patch of land in between is really the only route you can take to get out in this direction. Sometimes there would be shopping trolleys in that water, but they would get pulled out, so it wouldn't be surprising to go to or from work and see some new trolleys down there, but then see them taken out not long later. Looks like it's clear right now. And this little road is surprisingly well kept, even though it's all overgrown. It's not terribly overgrown. I end up pointing the camera down here so I don't get someone's face on camera. And you can see on the right it's all sloped. Oh yeah, go around that puddle. That's always a nuisance. That there, the railing, is like a release pipe. I'm not sure if it's just from the reservoir or what. I'm not sure exactly what comes out of that pipe, what's connected to it. This fence here, this gate we just passed through, seems kind of pointless because you can just walk around it. It's like it's only there to stop cars going through, but where are they going to go? All that land there, overgrown, that was the warehouse with all the timber and other materials, I think. It was pretty big, but years ago it all caught fire. I still don't know the full story about that, now that I think about it. So this is the main path to go through the park, and people will often want to walk along the water side, so you can see this like a trimmed away path that guy's cycling on. But that's just grass, there's no actual path there. And then the other way too, you can walk all the way down to the railway and walk along that if that's what you want. That would be how you do a full lap of the park, I guess. And on the other side of the river there is like a little play park or something, right by the housing. Now this area here, even though it looks fairly open, fairly chill, when it's dark at night or in the winter, it's so difficult to see getting through here. So you gotta be careful there's no one hiding in the bushes here in such times. Obviously not right now with it being so bright. You get things like foxes living in there, pretty cute. Now this path I'm walking on seems to have been upgraded since I worked there, because it used to be pretty gravelly, but now it's fairly solid. And now you can see as we come to the opening, this park is pretty big. This huge trimmed area on the left gets used for several cricket grounds at once, so they can run many games at once, I think like 8, 12 games all at once. Sometimes they use it for football fields, sometimes I'm not sure if they do it for rugby fields. I don't remember ever seeing rugby posts. And that little hut up ahead, the rusty looking thing, that's where the equipment is for that. And as far as you can see in the distance, the trees, if you double that, that's how far the park spreads, or triple it in some directions. So on the left it ends at the rail, on the right it is about double, because you got the river just beyond view there, but in the far distance it goes maybe 3 times as far, and I would have to go that long length. The river eventually comes around, ends up in front of us, and you have to go down some steps to go under the rail line where that crosses over. However, that often ended up flooded during the heavy rains, so I'd end up having to walk all the way around what we see here on the left, go all the way around the rail line to either rejoin through another bridge on the left or go even further and just avoid the park entirely. There's some housing over there that's on some of the roads just outside of the rail line, but they're not the most direct route to get anywhere. They're kind of in their own little area, so you have to go even around that if you need to navigate that way. What I'm saying is going to those houses doesn't lead anywhere, as far as I recall. So, I would travel through here on my bike every day, and it was very pleasant. I could make it in a few minutes if I was fast, but if there was rain, if there was snow, it would, well, with it being such a gravelly floor, it would be risky to go at such high speed. Also, the path isn't the straightest route all the way to the park. As you could see when I looked back there, it curves, so I would not always use the path anyway. I'd often go over the grass. Nothing really to see around here, just bushes. While we walk through here, I'll talk about working at Wilkinson. So, Wilkinson used to be the sort of place where you could buy everything. And way back in the day, it started off as a hardware store. So you'd end up getting all your hardware essentials. But in more modern times, it's become sort of a general bit of everything store. And I could see some of the pricing wasn't always the best, and I was a bit concerned about how that would play out. I think it has now played out to its misfortune. But at the same time, online shopping has been kicking off and slowly driven Wilkinson sales down, because why go to a shop to get your stuff when you can buy every little thing you need online and not have to wait for different things to be in stock. Usually things were kept in stock. They did a pretty good job of that. But sometimes people can buy, need a thing, not get the thing, decide not to get any of the stuff. Yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance. There's no simple solution, really. But you could always order things to come in soon after. Like if you needed paint for your walls, and you needed to make sure that they were like the same batch, you could order a batch and wait for the whole thing to come in. Oh yeah, looking down there to the river, a friend of mine who lived around here, he once saw somebody cross that river by walking in one end and out the other, like Terminator style. Just bizarre to see. Because wherever you are along this river, there's not that far to get to the nearest bridge. As far as I walked out to the opening, if you go that distance again, there's another bridge, so there's not really any need to go in the water. Yeah, you can see a bit of view of that once warehouse area. I love that they put these little cutaways in construction or security, what do you call it, fencing. So people's curiosity can be quenched. Obviously not good for security sometimes. Usually put a bit of plastic over it. But for construction it just means people aren't wondering what the hell's going on. This road here sometimes would be difficult to cross because on busy days like Saturdays, when I'd be getting to work, if it's like the afternoon shift, I'd be arriving during the busy lunchtime, and there would be so many vehicles going in and out at the same time here, you'd have to wait for someone to be courteous enough to let you cross. There's no actual crossing there. So this is the parking area for Wilkinson, and there, behind that blue car, there's a grey door with a little pin pad and stuff by it. That was the staff entry. I once got locked in. Everyone was signing out, and the supervisor locks up after, and I went in the locker room, the bathroom, whatever, and he hadn't noticed. Everyone left. He locked up. I came out like seconds later, and it was too late. So I ran around the store trying to be noticed on the cameras, phoned up some staff. Eventually they managed to get in contact with the supervisor and got him to come back. You may have noticed just back there as I was speaking the footage cut forward like a second. I haven't made any edits to this apart from censoring later, so missing footage is just due to signal loss when I was streaming. Right at the very end of this footage you'll see I foolishly completely leaked my identity in the reflection. But that is no longer the case. So across the road, see in the distance you got those tower blocks. That's where they were having the residency for the Commonwealth Games, like sort of like the Olympics. I don't remember if they got it finished in time. I don't think they did. and they ended up putting all the athletes in hotels across the city. But now I think it's become just general residency. And here we are, back at Wilkinson. Administration sale. Pretty much everything was on sale, and I got a few bagfuls of stuff, including stuff to repair my bike, which I haven't used. And there's me in the reflection. Bye bye!